And Roger Stone is expected in court in just a few hours. The longtime advisor to President Trump will be arraigned in Washington on 7 charges. The special counsel accusing him of lying to Congress, obstruction, and witness tampering in the Russia probe. Stone says he is innocent and there was no collusion.
There is no Russian collusion. I had no collaboration with WikiLeaks. I'm not charged with conspiracy. Believe me, if they could have made that case, they would have. But they want to silence me because I will stand up for Donald Trump. That's what this is really about.
So what does this latest move mean for the Russia probe?
Joining us now is Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch. So this is another one that is being picked off by Robert Mueller. What do we have here?
Oh, in my view, it's a low-rent indictment, low-rent prosecution. It's the sort of prosecution I don't think the Justice Department would have brought but for this Mueller special counsel operation, which is geared at trying to destroy and harass President Trump. I think Mr. Stone is going to have a credible argument in the courts that he didn't do what is suggested in the indictment. Now, whether he's guilty or not, I don't know. But I don't think Americans should be able really trust the special counsel operation to disinterestedly and dispassionately analyze the evidence about what Stone did. You know, it's a terrible situation, and Mr. Stone is in the dock because of his relationship to Donald Trump, not because of anything inappropriate he may or may not have done.
Well, let's take a look at some of the charges against Roger Stone, and that includes 1 count of obstruction of an official proceeding, 5 counts of false statements, 1 count of witness tampering. And we also have a clip here from acting AG Matt Whitaker. Let's go ahead and listen to what he has to say.
The investigation is, I think, close to being completed, and I hope that we can get the report from Director Mueller as soon as possible.
Okay, close to being completed. I mean, I think a lot of people waiting for this to be over and be wrapped up. What do you make of it, Tom?
Oh, I think that's more of a wish rather than a report. I don't see this investigation ending soon enough. But frankly, as Mr. Stone highlighted, there is no Russia collusion, and if there's no Russia collusion, there should be no special counsel, as abusive as it is. And you know, if I were the president, I would be demanding that it be shut down administratively, and if it doesn't, maybe he should move into court and try to do it himself. This is go ahead.
Yeah, well, I want to ask. You know, I mean, obviously, nobody knows when it's going to end. Judge Napolitano just said yesterday he thinks it's going to go for another year. Adam Schiff was enraged that that comment was made by Matt Whitaker because he wants it to last longer. But let's get back to the connection here between this guy and WikiLeaks and Roger Stone, WikiLeaks, right, and Russia. Because you've got WikiLeaks and Russia connected. You've got Roger Stone and WikiLeaks connected. I mean, there is a connection there. And people that disagree with you would say that's a pretty big connection.
Well, that's the 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon approach to prosecution.
Well, that's 2 degrees.
Yeah, well, but the whole point is, because you talk to someone who may or may not have talked to the Russians, there's no evidence anyone knowingly colluded with the Russians to steal emails out of the DNC, which is the core fake allegation of the dossier and its advocates. Now, Mrs. Clinton's campaign, according to this indictment, was in communication with the WikiLeaks group and pressuring them on these emails. Does that mean they were in league with the Russians? Maybe, under this theory. But of course, the difference is no one's asked Mrs. Clinton or her campaign about their communications with the Russians under oath in order to pursue, and in my view, trumped up perjury charges against them. But you know, this is to me the worst corruption in the Justice Department in modern times, this targeting of Trump and his team. Frankly, Mr. Trump should consider pardons for most of the Americans caught up in its web.
Well, it's, you know, it goes back to the theory that people say, you know, you're supposed to find a crime and then investigate, and it's kind of been the opposite effect here. We're investigating people looking for a crime. Tom, thank
just
you for your
quickly,
time.
you know, this report, you know, why are we going to let Mueller write a report if he's not indicting anyone in the White House or Mr. Trump? That's obviously not on the cards. So we're going to have this another dossier targeting President Trump, that report, rather than talking about publicizing it, we ought to be talking about whether or not he should be writing the report to begin with under our constitutional system.
All right, you make some good points. Tom, thank you so much for your time this morning. We do appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right.